Welcome to your online mathematics course. Now this is a general video for online math courses. I happen to be Andrew Hudson, but many instructors might use this same video, so if your instructor is not Andrew Hudson, this will still work, but there are some tweaks that might be slightly different. The goal of this video is to get you familiar with D2L Desire to Learn, which is our general system here. In summer of 2018, we have modified it to what's called the Daylight experience. So those of you who are familiar with D2L recently, this is going to look a little different, but it just looks a little different. Most things are still familiar. So first, when you open up and get into the course, you'll see something that looks sort of like this. You'll have announcements right here. Usually it should be at least a weekly announcement, sometimes with a video, sometimes not. Mentions of what's going to happen in the week. Check in on a regular basis. You check in only once a week, you might miss something. So check in a few times a week. Always glance at the announcements first. Make sure there's nothing new, and if there is, read through it, watch the video. A lot of what you'll want to do is up here on these menus. If you do have need for tech support or front range resources, you'll find those there. But these are the three main menus that we'll play with. Course materials. We find the content. This is a menu that's going to have what we're doing each week. It's going to have our regular weekly material. You'll find a calendar. Not all instructors will use this, but if your instructor does, it can contain some important dates. You'll find the class list. Here you can contact other classmates or your instructor by clicking on their name in the class list. Activities. We find assignments, which was formerly known as Dropbox. If your teacher has assignments that need to be deposited here, basically something that's written and you've taken a picture of it, needs to come in, it will probably be deposited here. You have discussions. Discussions are a big part of online, so you will see a fair bit in this area. Groups might show up. Quizzes. Here's a warning. Math classes involve quizzes. They usually are not found here. You will find them somewhere else. So most likely you will ignore this one. If your instructor is going to use it, they will tell you explicitly to use the D2L quiz. And then surveys. Again, not often used, but at the end of the semester, this is where you will do the faculty evaluation, instructor feedback. And then in progress, you'll find the gradebook and any rubrics that have been posted by your teacher. So let's look more in depth in each one. Content. If we go to content, you're going to find a table of contents here with a Getting Started module up top. This module will include some really important course information, including your instructor's bio, that's nice, the syllabus, the contract for the course schedule, when you are expecting to do what, and the rubric for the discussion board will appear here, whether or not it's under the rubric tab. You will also find a document asking if the course is right for you. I recommend reading through that. Make sure you're in the right place. You'll find a variety of how-to videos. Up above, you'll find schedules for the math labs or math help centers. These are available by your student fee on each campus. You can look at the schedule here. You're welcome to drop into any of them and try and get help. And then you'll get the weekly modules, and they should look something like this. It's going to tell you what week we are in with the dates. It is going to tell you an overview of what you expect to do that week, along with what assignments are due. Now, this alone is often considered the checklist. You need to make sure you do everything on this list. Some instructors will provide an extra checklist if you want to print it off and check things off as you go. That's wonderful. And often, there will be links to the D2L activities happening that week. So these are discussion links, good to use here, but it's often better to go to discussions straight through activities. So discussions. On the discussion board, you should find a general questions type topic, something where you can just go in and ask, not necessarily related to the content, but related to how to get through the course. And then you will find weekly modules where, well, not weekly modules, weekly forums, which might have more than one topic. Make sure to participate in all of the discussions. They are a part of your grade. So a few details up here. First, these three are important. Well, the updates might be. Messenger shows up here. If somebody has sent you a message, you'll see one of these little red dots right on that message, on that envelope. Watch for those. Your instructor might well send out messages at points during the semester. That will be a private message just to you. Any discussions you have posted, you will subscribe to. You can also subscribe to other discussions, and if someone posts on that thread, you'll get a little red dot here. Whenever your instructor makes a new announcement, you'll get a dot here, or posts some new content. Finally, if we go back into content, we saw in that week 1, there were My Math Lab quizzes and homework assignments. And how do we get there? Click on this, that brings you back to the front page, and we have access to My Math Lab Plus. There's a separate tutorial video for My Math Lab Plus, but most of your assignments happen in here. The discussions in Dropbox will be the exception. Hopefully this helps you get through D2L. Have a great semester.